Man, you wouldn't think trying to get some fuel would be this hard. Just spin it. And it did this at the other pilot location in this town also. Fix your network, people. So my youngest son is no longer going to get his CDL at Maverick. I don't want to go into it. That's his business and Maverick's business. But just know there is a plan. He and I talked about it yesterday, and we talked about some things and found out some things, and which brings me to a good topic to be able to talk about. Do you have to pay for your CDL? Maybe not. With just a little research and maybe a couple of phone calls, and depending on what area you live in, you may not have to pay for your CDL. You can go to a standalone CDL training business. There are a lot of community colleges that have CDL training courses that you can take. Sometimes those can take a little bit longer. But there are a few ways for you to be able to get a CDL at no cost to you. The most common way for people to get their CDL paid for is to pay for it up front, go to a CDL business, and gain your CDL. These trucking businesses will sign you up for a contract, and if you stay within that contract, they'll pay for your CDL. Another way for you to get your CDL paid for is go to your unemployment office and ask them if they have a grant program to receive your CDL. Some states have this, some states don't. So you'll have to contact your local authorities to find out if you qualify for a grant to go get your CDL. But I think the best way, if you have access, and you'll have to check in your local area for access, is if you have a community college or a 2-year college that has a CDL training program, it is highly likely that you can get a grant to go through that program and not have to pay a penny for your CDL. And this is what my son is going to go do. The upside of that is you don't have to sign a contract with a trucking company for them to pay your CDL like I did, which I'm almost out of my contract, and that's great. But you know, it's, if you don't have to sign that contract, I would go get somebody else to pay for my CDL and not sign that contract. Let's go. Okay, I gotta show you guys this stuff when I see it. This Toyota in front of me has his trunk tied down with an extension cord. I think he's hauling maybe another door for that car in the trunk. See it? I guess it works. I don't know. Whatever.
Stood stricken, blinking. He thought once that he could leave the army and live with Astrid. and so make a new life in the clean decencies of Denmark. Me, don't hurry. Yes, sir, Sharp said, and hurried. Hogan and Sharp walked through the night rain, going uphill to a schoolhouse. Once in the schoolhouse, Sharp and Hogan settled in the kitchen, where the French occupiers of the city had left an undamaged Tate. Means the Hill Bridge, and naturally it's as old as the hills. One top of powder will send it crashing down into the gorge, and then Richard, Monsieur Salted, properly bothered. But he's only bothered if the Portuguese can get there. It looked gloomy, for the weather was not propitious for a swift march into the mountains. And if they can't stop Salted at Pontinova, then there's a half chance they'll catch him at the Saltador. You remember that, of course. I do remember that, sir, Sharp said. The Saltador was a bridge high in the mountains, a stone span that leapt across a deep and narrow gorge, and the spectacular arch had been nicknamed the Lipa, the Saltador. Sharp remembered Hogan mapping it, remembered a small village of low stone houses, but chiefly remembered the river tumbling in a seething torrent beneath the soaring bridge. If they get to the Saltador and cross it, Hogan said, then we can kiss them goodbye and wish them luck. They'll have escaped. He flinched as a crash of thunder reminded him of the weather. Ah, well,